sinus.
That big blue right there on top of the skull.
Okay. Right transverse sinus.
So it's your right, your left. Remember both sides, so right and left, and it's about that 1 inch in the very back, that blue. And then the sigmoid, the right one makes an S. So you start with the blue way up here and then curves around, and the left one makes an backwards S.
So this would be the right side.
Is that your right hand?
This is my right hand.
No, this is
This is
right.
the
That's
right
right. Sorry.
You're
This is,
facing
yeah,
again.
your face face.
Mine.
Yeah.
Wait.
Facing the
Right,
same way.
left. Okay.
Okay, right vertebral artery.
Right and left vertebral arteries?
Yes.
Okay. So they're in two places, but it's the same blood vessels. So remember, I've got the left side. So this red coming up the side. Remember, you've got the extra holes on your cervical vertebra for the, I said for an artery? That's the artery that goes through. So on this side, it's the little red, that fine red one back in here.
Okay.
Okay? And
This-
wait a minute. And then when they enter the skull, they're like, in all the way in, they're like legs coming up there. Left and right
The
legs
B.
coming up.
Basilar artery.
So that's when they get in the head, and that's what they join. So this big, thick, flat red one, looks like a body coming up from those legs. See the big, thick one that comes up from the legs?
Oh, it looks like a bug.
No.
I was thinking
Like a
of centipede
body.
also.
And
This
that's
one,
the
right?
basilar.
This one, right?
It's
Looks like licorice.
big right there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then at the top, it branches out. So you can see right here, there's a little divot, so it goes left or right.
Mhm.
Those are the posterior cerebral arteries, left and right. And then, coming up from the side of your head is going to be the jugular. And the jugular will give rise, the very bottom where I'm pointing right now is going to be the, carotid artery, my mistake. The carotid comes out right there, and then it immediately branches forward and to the side. The one going to the side is going to be the middle cerebral artery. And again, you're left or right. And then the one that goes forward, those are the anterior, left or right, anterior cerebral arteries. This whole structure is called the circle of Willis, so now we have to close the circle. So back here between the middle cerebral and the posterior cerebral, remember that whole piece is posterior cerebral. This little piece right here is the posterior communicating artery. And you have a left and right of those two, there they are. And you have one single anterior communicating to join those two anteriors because they're close together. That closes the circle.
What about the anterior spinal artery?
That's the ventral spinal artery also. That looks like the tail between the legs. It goes all the way down in front of your spinal column. Remember, spinal cord, you have that one in front.
And then the right common carotid artery, that was the one that you said it was
No,
between
not
here?
common. I just said carotid artery.
Oh.
Now, the common carotid's what I'm holding, and it's again your right, your left.
Mm.
So I've got the big red. And as soon as it branches, the one comes up the side of your face under the mandible. That's the external carotid artery. So it runs up the side of the head. And then the other one goes up into the skull through that jugular foramen that the skull has. That's the internal, and the internal's the one that gives rise to the middle cerebral and the anterior cerebrals.
Okay, what about
Pituitary gland,
pituitary
always
gland?
kind of a rose color. It was on Face Man too, the same way, kind of a rose color sitting up there. And this one shows how the blood vessels wrap around it too.
It says in the sella turcica.
Turcica,
Turcica.
sitting there. You're gonna remember the sella turcica of the skull.
Okay.
That's where it's sitting. That's where it's protected. That's where you only see the top of.
Spinal nerves, right and left.
No, we're not doing spinal nerves.
No, okay, cool.
We done did them.
Sweet.
That was last unit.
Okay, that's all we did.